Hi, it's Dot from dotstrot.com, and this afternoon I'm going to be making a barbecue sauce. Now, I've already made a mustard one on a video that we've already posted, but this time around I'm making a tomato-based sauce, which I've never done before, so it's going to be a little bit of an experimentation today. And basically what I'm going to be using is I'm going to try to make it as low carb as possible, but I'm adding a couple of things that will increase the carb count ever so slightly. And if you're trying to lose weight, or if you have a lot of weight to lose, I should say, and you're doing a strict low carb diet, meaning you're eating 20 grams of carbs and no more, or under 20 grams, then there's a couple of ingredients you probably won't want to add, and I'll let you know what they are. And I'll have that in the description below the video as well. But to give you an idea of what I'm going to use, the base is going to be ketchup. Now, typically I would make my own ketchup, but it got a little late and the clock got away from me. So what I'm going to use now instead is going to be a reduced sugar ketchup, which Heinz makes. And you can get this at the grocery store. Most grocery stores should have this. Not, you can also get it from Amazon too. It's about 1 carb per serving. So the idea is that it's got significantly less sugar, about 75% less sugar than regular ketchup. So it's a good substitute if you don't make your own sugar-free ketchup. So there's that. The other ingredients I'm planning on using are going to be a hot sauce. So basically just to give it some kick and a little bit of spice. I'm going to be also using Worcestershire sauce. And again, some of this stuff I wish I could make on my own. I just haven't developed skills enough or talent enough to figure out how to make my own Worcestershire sauce. But nonetheless, I'm going to add a little bit of that just for flavor. The one thing I absolutely love, and I'm going to add, and I have to be careful not to add too much of it, is liquid smoke. It gives it a nice smoky flavor to the foods without adding any types of sugar to it, which is great. Mustard is also going to be a part of this, just a regular yellow mustard. You certainly could use a Dijon if you wanted to, but yellow mustard is just fine. Just whatever you get at the grocery store should work for you. 2 things I'm going to be adding, which I'm really liking, is my coconut and aminos, excuse me. And this is my soy replacement. So I don't use soy sauce anymore. Soy sauce has wheat in it. And if you're a low carber, you want to stay away from the wheats. It doesn't taste like coconut. It tastes like soy sauce, and it's very healthy for you. So Coconut Secret makes these. This is the one that I found so far that I tend to keep going back to. I really enjoy the flavor of it. Now, also from Coconut Secret, a coconut vinegar. And again, this is replacing, it doesn't taste like coconut, but it's going to replace my apple cider vinegar, which I either use a lot of that or sometimes I switch over to coconut vinegar instead. Now, as far as my seasonings go, I've already got them distributed out. I may use a little bit more or less. I'm using a little bit of chili powder, cayenne pepper, cumin, onion powder, and garlic powder. So that's what I'm going to be using for this little experiment. The other 2 things I would suggest if you're on a strict low carb diet, you do not add, but I'm just going to add just a little bit for taste. One is, woohoo, Jack Daniels. Now, Jack Daniels and all spirits do not have any carbs. So you're maybe asking, well, if it has no carbs, then why would you not include it in your sauce if you're on a strict low carb diet? Well, you probably could, and you probably could get away with it, but alcohol in general stops your diet immediately, stops the weight loss, I should say, immediately. Your body burns off the alcohol before it burns off fat. So you stop basically burning fat when you start drinking. Now, I'm only going to add just a little bit for flavor and for taste. But nonetheless, if you want to add it, you certainly can. I'm literally probably going to add maybe about a tablespoon or 2, not much more than that. Now, the other thing I'm going to add, just to make my sauce a little sticky, is, ta-da, honey. Again, honey, lots of sugars. But it is natural sugars. However, I'm only going to add about a teaspoon or maybe a tablespoon total. And since my sauce is probably going to at least make 12 servings, when you divide a tablespoon of honey across 12 servings, it's not really a whole lot. It maybe adds one entire carb for the entire dish total across all of the servings. So I sort of look at it as it adds flavor to what I'm planning on doing. Now, it could be, it's one of the last things I'm going to add. It could be that I hit the flavor jackpot without the honey. And that's fine with me, especially if I have the right texture and thickness, but we'll see. So with that, I've already got my ketchup I'm using about half a cup of ketchup to start with. I'm going to go ahead and add all my seasonings in right now. Oops, garlic got a little stuck. So what I'm going to do now is going to add some Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to start off with just a tablespoon of a lot of these sauces and just sort of go from there. You can always add more. And if you make a mistake and you add, oh, that's too much, you just sort of keep going. And then ketchup is a great cover up for everything. You always can add a little bit more. I said a tablespoon, it's actually a teaspoon that I'm adding. I'm going to be doing a teaspoon of everything, not the tablespoon. Next up is actually going to be the mustard. Yay! And then, like I said, I'm going to add most of this stuff, except the Jack and the honey will be the last things I add. But I'm going to sort of get an idea if I need to play with the flavors a little bit. So there's the mustard. We're going to go with some of the vinegar, coconut vinegars. Oops, that's a little bit more. So we'll see how that goes. I may have to add a little bit of ketchup with that. Then we've got the amino. And again, just a little bit. Actually, a little bit than a teaspoon on that one. Probably about 2/3. Then we got some liquid smoke coming. I love me some liquid smoke. I'm actually going to do 1.5 teaspoons of the liquid smoke because I really do love this stuff and I really want that smoky flavor. There we go. Now the one thing I am going to add a tablespoon of is the hot sauce. I love my barbecue sauce to be spicy. I want better than Frank's, so I'm going to add that. Now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and mix everything. Let me get these. And the good news is it still looks pretty thick. Now the other thing I'm going to do once I get the flavor here right, I'm going to cook it down a little bit. Or heat it up on a stove. And actually it's pretty thick. I usually would heat it up on a stove to get out any excess liquid, but it's actually pretty thick, so I don't know if I need to do that, which is actually great. I'm going to taste this a little bit, just a little taste, see how it goes. It's nice, but I can definitely get the kick of the hot sauce. It's definitely really spicy, but it's still a little too tomatoey from the ketchup. So I'm thinking I'm going to add a little bit of more mustard. And of course, the Jack is coming. So I'm going to add the mustard first. I don't mind tasting a little bit of the ketchup, but I don't want it to dominate, and it was just too much. Let me go ahead. I'm double dipping, but it's me and my husband, so it's okay. That's much better. Just that little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and still do just some Jack. So I'm going to start off with a teaspoon of Jack Daniels. Not too much. This is making my cameraman a little worried because he loves Jack oh so much. Got it all mixed in. Take a taste. A lot of this is, again, trial and error, so you're tasting as you go, so don't be afraid. I'm going to add another one. That's really nice. So my goal is to go up to a tablespoon. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons, so I'm 2/3 of the way there. I can definitely smell the Jack. And then if I do put it on the stove, I would cook out the alcohol, but right now it's looking like it's still nice and thick, so I don't think I am going to put it on the stove. It's nice, but I'm going to do a little bit of honey. So my honey is a little, here we go. Woo! That is a tablespoon of honey. Again, you don't have to add the honey if you don't want to. I was caught again. I said a tablespoon. It's a teaspoon of honey. Whoa. It's been a long day. But I got the honey in here. It's so tasty. It smells really good. Very strong too. Or maybe it's because I have the Jack open and it's right next to me. So here we go. Okay. That is a really nice barbecue sauce. It's really simple. And again, it's just experimenting anything. I'm happy I didn't have to add a whole lot more spices, so I hit the spices right on the head right off the bat. So I've got probably close to, oh gosh, it's not quite a cup. I would say a good serving size for this is a tablespoon. Now you may think, oh my God, that's not a whole lot, but it's just to enhance the flavor of your food. You don't want to drown your food in the sauce, which is what I know I used to do whenever I use sauces or dressings or anything on the food. You just want it to enhance it. And this is probably going to be about, if I were to do my calculations, which, I plug them into a computer, it's probably going to be about 2 carbs-ish per tablespoon, which is a serving size for this. So don't worry about it. It adds nice little flavor. If you want it to, you can certainly add a second tablespoon. That gives you 4 carbs. So just keep that in mind. If you're having a day where maybe you're going to go a little bit over 20 carbs if you're doing a strict low carb diet. But otherwise, it's about 2 carbs. If you take out the honey, it's probably about a carb per serving. Then you could do 2 tablespoons at 2 carbs per count. So, but the whole point of this little exercise was just not fearing merging all these different ingredients together. You can make your own stuff. You don't have to go to the grocery store. Now, of course, I say that, and I have all these little things here, which I would love to be able to replace on my own. I'm just not there yet, but it's a start when I start making my own sauce. So with that, I hope you have a great day. And if you like what you see, go ahead and comment below, as well as hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you later.